Fairy Dirt by Thomley. Chapter 9. The drive and subsequent walk home was uneventful for both of them. When Brynn's mom asked her where she had been all day, she told her that she had lunch with a friend from school.
Be careful, Brynn.
Her mom didn't seem to like it, but it wasn't a lie, and it was certainly better than the full truth. Despite what her father had told her, she really wanted to talk with Fiona. She had so many questions that only her sister could answer. She planned to try to sneak into her room after dinner. Once she got to the kitchen, though, Fiona's spot at the table was empty. It was the first time she had not been with the family for dinner since she accidentally cast a sneezing spell on herself 5 years ago. Though it was funny, no one wanted to eat sneezed-on food. Brynn tried to act like nothing was wrong and sat through the meal with everyone else. No one mentioned it, and considering her strained relationship with her sister, asking at the table would have raised suspicion. Her mom excused herself early, saying she didn't feel well. Brynn wanted to run after her but managed to play it cool. She needed to wait. Once everyone was finished eating and the tablet had been cleared, she went to her mother's room. "Mom, have you seen Fiona?" Her mother was just sitting on the side of her pastel-colored bed, almost stoic. It was unlike her to be a recluse, especially so close to dinner time.
Fiona is gone,
Was her simple response as she still sat there emotionless. "What do you mean she is gone? Where did she go?" Panic rushed over Brynn like a wave. She could feel her pulse racing and her palms became clammy.
You know exactly what I mean, Brynn.
Cheyenne turned to look at her daughter.
And if you aren't careful, you will be gone as well. Don't think I don't know what you have been up to. I can smell the vampire on you. You are just lucky that nobody around here pays much attention to you, or they would smell you too. I mean, really, Brynn, how could you girls be so stupid?
"So, what then? Are you just going to turn your back on Fiona like you did our father?"
Young lady, you are out of line. That is a story that you know nothing about. What you think you know is wrong. You need to go to your room and stay there before someone overhears you.
That was no problem. She was happy to go to her room. How could her mother just let them send Fiona, her own daughter, away? Vincent had been right on the money. There was no way that she was going to sit around and wait for the elders to come for her too. She sent Max a quick SOS text and packed her bags. This was it. She slithered out of her window and made her way to the crack in the fence that she had come to rely on. She tossed her bags over the fence and squeezed her way out. Adrenaline was coursing through her. This would be the riskiest move she had even made in her life. There was no turning back now. She hurriedly made her way to the park. Max was sitting in the gazebo when she got there. Thank God for that vampire speed. He smiled sympathetically at Brynn when he saw her. He felt bad that so much in her life was going wrong. Sure, he had been turned into a vampire, but that wasn't all bad. He would be young and powerful forever. He could protect her, but she tried so hard and constantly got the short end of the stick. She deserved more. She tried to force a smile as she made her way to him. She gave him a hug and thanked him for meeting her.
I was on my here before I even received your text. I could just sense what you needed me to do. Vincent said it was because I had consumed your blood. It is fascinating, like I can feel some of what you were feeling. It was just like when I could see the spell you were casting that day.
"I can't go back there, Max." Brynn sobbed at the thought of everything falling apart. She had been holding it together on her way to the park, but it finally hit her. Her mother with no backbone, just letting Fiona be cast out. What a coward. Who treats their children like that?
I know you can't. I'm sorry about your sister. You both should be able to count on your mom. I know it's gotta hurt, babe. Come with me to your father's house. He is expecting you.
Brynn didn't protest. She didn't know where else to go, and she did think that she would be safe there. Who knows how long she would be safe in her own house now? It was dark outside, so they didn't have to take any underground passage. She tried to memorize the way that they were taking to get there so she would be able to come and go on her own. The walk was long, and she began to think about the recent events of her life. It seemed like no matter what she did, she was always disappointing someone. Her spells were usually failures. She couldn't make fairy dust. She inadvertently had her boyfriend turned into a vampire, and now she was leaving her mother behind. Her mother, who apparently didn't give a shit about anybody except herself. It still felt wrong, though.
Don't get yourself down, Brynn. You are beautiful and more powerful than you realize. You made me able to walk in the sun. Do you even realize how amazing that is? You even figured it out on your own. No one gave you the spell to try. You are so special. And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to pry on your emotions. I can't help but feel them, and I don't know how to stop it. You don't deserve to be feeling so miserable.
It's okay. I appreciate your kind words more than you know. Well, I suppose you do know. Are we almost there? She took his hand in hers, enjoying the comfort that it brought.
We are very close to Vincent's house.
He was right. It had been less than 5 minutes when they finally arrived at her father's house. This was the first time that she had a chance to really look at it closely. She had been in a hurry when she left earlier in the day. It was a beautiful brick home. There was a large wooden porch that wrapped around the sides, adorned with swings and tables. The 2 front windows were covered in satin curtains. It looked like a normal human household. They walked inside, and Brynn was surprised to be greeted by her sister.
Brynn, oh my God, what are you doing here? Did anyone see you leave?
Fiona cried out as she hugged her sister. This was the first time that Brynn had ever felt like Fiona was happy to see her. In fact, this might be the first time they willingly hugged each other. I don't think anyone noticed, but I don't think they will be looking for me anyway. Mom was pretty clear that my days were numbered, so I decided to leave on my own terms. What happened to you?
When I got home today, the elders were in my room. They told me that I reeked of vampire stink, and they would not let a traitor remain in their house. I barely had time to pack a bag before they made me leave. Mom just stood there and watched. She didn't even say a damn word to me.
Fiona was so angry. She didn't know whether she wanted to cry or punch something.
What about you? What happened? Did anyone tell you what happened to me?
When I went down for dinner, I noticed that you were missing. Afterwards, I went upstairs to Mom's room and asked where you were. She told me that I smelled like a vampire, and that I was lucky that nobody in the house paid attention to me. I couldn't stay there knowing she so easily turned her back on you. If she could do that to her favorite daughter, who knows what she would do to me?
Well, I am glad that you are here with me. I am sorry for taking you for granted all this time. Ugh, I have been such a total bitch to you. I think deep down I resented you for how much you reminded me of Dad. When we were little, I found a bunch of pictures of him in Mom's room. I memorized his face, and every time I looked at you, I saw him. I promised to make everything up to you somehow.
They sat on the couch with each other for a few minutes before Vincent came in.
It is good to see you again so soon, Brynn. I'm sorry it had to be on such unfortunate circumstances. You can make yourself at home. There is plenty of room for both you and Fiona. As you can guess, I don't have any food in the house. You will have to go grocery shopping. There is money on the table for whatever you need. The only thing I ask while you are here is that you girls stay in school. It is important to pretend that everything is normal for right now. I will be asleep while you should be there, and I trust you two to respect my wishes. That goes for you as well, Max. You will be able to sleep for a few hours before dawn, and again when you get home from school. Brynn can keep the sunlight spell cast on you, so you should be safe.
Something about Vincent seemed so happy at this moment. He had given Brynn a lecture on staying with the other fairies as long as she could this morning, but she suspected that he was pleased to have his children there with him. They all agreed to his wishes. They were lucky enough to have a place to stay, and they weren't willing to jeopardize it. There were only a few weeks of the school year left anyway. It would be awkward being around the other fairies, but Brynn doubted that any of them would even speak to her or her sister. As long as the three of them stuck together, they would be okay. Fiona showed Brynn to her new room. It was eerily similar to her old room. The same 4-post bed frame with a white canopy, only now her comforter was purple as were her curtains. She loved it. She sat her bag down on the bed and began to unpack her things. Max would be out with her father for a few more hours. She took a shower and slipped into bed. It was strange that the house was furnished with beds and such things. Brynn knew her father never used them. It was almost as if he had been hoping for the chance to have her and Fiona there with him one day. She closed her eyes and cast a quick spell on herself. It should make her calm and bring ease. Her nerves were fried at this point. It seemed to work. Her eyelids became heavy, and she quickly began to fall asleep. Usually she saw spells when she closed her eyes, but now she only saw darkness. Please like and subscribe for more free audiobook content.